Coming up on this episode of Brody Even Talk Pinball, we're going to do some news and updates. What the heck happened in the last month?
We're going to talk about the This Week in Pinball award winners, and we're going to review Congo.
Finally, we're going to wrap up with some viewer emails, questions, tweets, all that and more coming right up.
Double super jackpot!
I need a ramp. I need a loop. I want targets I can hit. I need the scoop. I need a double super jackpot in my life. That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, pinball is now more popular than turtle racing. Your hosts, Nick Lane and Kevin Manny of Buffalo Pinball.
There's the world-famous Rudy. Thank you for that intro, Rudy. It is Monday, January 22nd. Welcome. This is our first podcast of 2018.
Yep, episode 24, and we can now say that is Rudy Soup of Buffalo Pinball officially.
What an honor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He must be real proud. His mom must be proud.
I'm sure. I'm sure. He's crushing it.
Yeah. And right on cue, here comes my son, just right as soon as we start podcasting. So, yeah, go and grab yourself a soda and get out of here. Nothing but the best. You know, we are at least number 3. That's all I'm going to say.
At least.
At least number 3. What's going on, guys? Happy New Year.
Let's start this off. Let's get the train back on the track. Let's talk about our partners. First of all, before we get into everything, we want to thank our partners for making this happen, helping to enable this addiction in what we do. We've got Comet Pinball. Comet makes LEDs. Got Double Danger Pinball, ddpinball.com.
If you're listening from Europe, you can now pick up products directly from Europe. So go to ddpinball.com, click the European buyers button on the side,
Yep.
and then you can get it without ridiculous shipping.
Yep. So they got pinball swag, and you can get Buffalo Pinball shirts from there too.
Yes.
By the way, some of these folks have coupon codes. Here's a pro tip. They're all Buffalo. You type Buffalo in them, you get the discount. Theirs is 15% off. Pinball Life. Pinball Life has pinball parts. They have some mods as well to get. I love Pinball Life because anytime that I have an issue with my pinball machine, I go to Pinball Life. It's almost always in stock, and it comes super quick, and Terry's awesome. So pinballlife.com. Jersey Jack Pinball, maker of Hobbit, Wizard of Oz, Dialed In, and oh my God, I can't wait to get Pirates of the Caribbean.
Can I just say Rage Tilt was streaming Pirates of the Caribbean launch party, and it made me way super excited to get my game. So
It's also, do you see it like coming along? Have you seen new stuff in there?
there's definitely new code in there, yeah. So
Oh man,
it's pretty exciting.
And now, all right, I don't get too derailed, but
Right.
like, have they? Do we know when that's coming out or?
The game itself,
Yeah.
they think you said like spring-ish.
Okay.
So yeah.
I don't want to be the first one. I never do.
No,
but
let somebody else do the first one.
let them fucking.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the waters.
there's a little tweaks, you know. They put the Cliffy protectors on after a while, so you know.
No one wants to be the guinea pig.
Awesome. All right, back to the partners.
All right. Titan Pinball, maker of silicone rings, so you can replace your rubber rings in your pinball machines. I love Titans. I got on all my games. They have a coupon code 10% off when you type in Buffalo. Community Beer Works, delicious beer. It's a nano brewery. Soon to open up a larger location. So I guess they won't be nano anymore.
With more pinball machines, right?
We have more pinball machines,
Boom.
and we're putting it in there, so that's awesome. I'm sure we'll have some cool events there. Pin Stadium Lights. Congrats to Pin Stadium for winning the Mod of the Year award and This Week in Pinball for their lighting mod. So if that's not an endorsement, I don't know what is. They've got a coupon code. You can type in Buffalo, you save 10% off. And Pinball Arcade has gotten many people into pinball, including myself. They make virtual recreations of real pinball machines. They have a ton of pinball machines that you can get and play. It's great to learn the rules. It's great to practice. And if you don't have access to a particular machine, there you go. And then finally, Tilt Cycle, tiltcycle.com. That's Dan Burfield out in Pittsburgh, PA. Makes upcycled pinball art. I have some. Kevin has some. Even Jay Fairbrother has some. All right.
Jay Fairbrother of HGTV fame.
This is the first Jay Fairbrother mention of the podcast.
We'll talk about
Tilt Cycle has a 20% off code when you type in Buffalo. So type in Buffalo.
Yeah. We'll talk more about Jay and his purple bathroom later.
All right.
So the first thing we really need to announce, very self-serving of us, but this is important. It's the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open 18. Finally,
that's right.
We can announce the dates and the location of our first Stern Pro Circuit event. It's August 17th to 19th at the, wait for it, it's at the Sandy Beach Yacht Club on Grand Island, New York, right on the Niagara River. It's going to be beautiful.
And just like with Phil Collins, no jacket required.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Bring your own yacht rock.
Yeah.
You can listen to some sailing.
She's got some if you don't.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't bring your own, let's be honest.
Yeah. So if you want to see pictures of the venue or register and learn about all the tournaments we got going on, we're going to have one main tournament and two side classics tournaments like we have in the past. Steve Daniels is also going to be doing a pre-event on the 16th.
Yep.
It's going to be a Flipper Frenzy tournament, which I've never played in, but I hear is pretty fun and crazy.
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. We're really excited, though. We've been sitting on this for a couple months now, waiting for it to be officially confirmed by like the board of directors at the club. But they're really excited to have us there as their guests for those number of days to run the tournament. What I really like about this and why I'm really excited this year is because the last 2 years were great. And, a lot of you folks told us they were great, and we were happy to host it. But, a couple things, we didn't have control of the games, and we didn't have control of the space. Mm-hmm. And some of the things where we saw room for improvement were those two areas. So we now have complete control of the games. We now have complete control of the space. And I think it's only going to be better. And I'm really excited about that. It's an awesome venue. Air-conditioned,
yes.
Clean. Bathrooms have locks.
Spacious.
You can go outside and kind of decompress, and you're right on the water, which is really cool. Of course, it's probably going to rain every single day because of that.
Yeah.
That's how life works.
If you want to ride up on your jet ski or your boat, there are some open spots
and
to
you
park
should.
those. So.
You should bring your boat.
Right.
BYOB. That'd be awesome.
Different BYOB.
Have a real entrance. You know what I'm saying? We're going to work on getting custom-made Buffalo Pinball ascots with the symbol. So
yeah, we can pick the patches off of the new hoodies and slap them on there.
We've got plans. We've only just begun.
Yes. Things are looking up.
That's probably a yacht rock song. No, it's not.
No.
Sailing is.
Sailing
Christopher
is
Cross.
Oh, yeah. This is a great playlist, yacht rock playlist on Spotify if you want to get in the mood.
Maybe.
All right. All right. Let's talk about the IFPA State Championship Series, which we were just honored to host the New York version.
Pinball Howard wants to know how far to Mighty Taco.
Ooh.
Is there a Mighty Taco on the island?
I don't know. We'd have to ask Jamie.
There's like always a Mighty Taco in like 15 minutes, though.
Yeah.
That's what you can rest assured about that, Howard.
15 minutes or less to a Mighty. I appreciate your question.
I saw that one and I wanted to address it.
All right. Let's talk about the SCS now.
The SCS, yes. That's the State Championship Series.
It sure is.
Okay. So we got to host it.
Yes.
That was 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. It's been a lot of pinball, so I'm kind of decompressing right now. This was the 5th year of doing the State Championship Series for the IFPA. So it's the top 16 players in the state. Now, there's an asterisk there because it goes down the list. So if you're number 1 and you can't go or attend, then it goes to number 2, and they would then become the top. But we got the distinction and honor of being able to host it in Buffalo for the first time. So I want to thank Francesco from New York City for advocating that and saying, for all the past years it's been in New York City, but he's the one who brought it to Buffalo. So good on him. We really appreciate that. And also Greg Pavarelli was a great advocate. He's from the city as well, and they had just a good attitude and a good spirit about really involving the entire state of New York in this.
Yeah, so how it's going to work from here on out is it's going to go to New York City one year, and then it'll be at a different location outside of the city. So I think next year it'll be back in New York City, and the year after that I think it's going to be in Rochester.
Yeah, which is great. I love that.
Yeah.
Because Kevin and I went down a couple of years ago, and we went to Sunshine Laundromat, and you guys might be familiar with that place. That's before they had kind of the cool bar in the back, but they still had an amazing collection of machines.
Yeah.
But we went down there and we ended up playing each other.
Yeah.
So after, I don't know, maybe 5-6 games, that was it.
That was it. I was done.
Kevin was done.
We
and
played
then
terrible pinball that round.
Yeah, we did. It was embarrassing. And then I got eliminated the next round. So it was cool to do at the time for like the first time. And I've done it 2 years. I did it the year before that, but sort of became apathetic having it always in New York City.
Yeah, and plus it was impossible for us to get in because of Super League and everything.
Yeah, I mean that changed it as well. So I'm really excited that they are rotating it, and it was a lot of fun hosting it.
It was super awesome. I feel like I say it every episode, but the pinball community is so great, and just seeing everybody and hanging out and playing pinball is always just a good time.
Yeah, we held it at Game on LAN, and shout out to my business partners because we provide the games there, and they did an extraordinary job of keeping the games in great shape, which I knew they would, and I was really happy to showcase that out to the community because that's new to them. That location's new to them, and everything went very smoothly. We had like a pre-tournament the night before, which was won by Bruce Nightingale from the Slam Tilt podcast, so congrats to Bruce. And then the next day was the state finals, and many of you might have even watched it because we were streaming it on our channel. Kevin did an amazing job of setting that up and manning it.
7 hours of pinball, and then
That's a lot of pinball.
Tune in stream for 5 more hours later on Saturday, so we had 12 hours of pinball on Saturday on the channel.
So we had also Bruce Nightingale from Slam Tilt was commentating. I mean, you might have heard some all yeses from Bruce.
Yes.
Greg Pavarelli did a great job as well. So that's on our Twitch channel. It's not going to go up on YouTube. You guys, if you want to take a look at it, maybe some highlights towards the end. Jack Tadman, congrats to him. He won the New York State Championship Series, despite the fact that he's from Toronto. But Jack,
the only non-New Yorker, ended up winning the New York State Championship.
He's an amazing player,
He
man.
is.
He's
well deserved.
Jack just gave me a beatdown. I was in the top 4, and I had to face off him, and I sort of fell apart, and he just turned it on. And I don't know. He's such a great competitor. So congrats to him. CJ Smith from New York City faced him, and they had a heck of a battle. Unfortunately, CJ slam tilted the last game on Fathom, which, lesson learned, we're going to disable that from now on. That was just put on location then, but all the players knew that it was there. They've been
it had
warned.
happened before.
But it's just it was unfortunate, but everybody was a good sport about the whole tournament. So we absolutely loved hosting it. It was a pleasure. And we appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody again next year, hopefully, if we make it in. All right, let's get into the TWIPYs. So last podcast, we kind of gave our picks for the TWIPYs, which are the This Week in Pinball. It's the first ever awards that they do. So This Week in Pinball is thisweekinpinball.com. It's a website where, guess what they do? They post once a week about all the news in pinball. So they came up with this award with a whole bunch of categories and gave you the list of machines that were available. And we'll just run through what got picked by all the voting. I heard that there were at least 1,000 votes, which was
that's awesome.
pretty impressive.
That's great participation rate.
Yeah. And so let's run down the list. The first one was the best animations in display. That went to Dialed In. Congratulations, Dialed In.
Rightfully so.
You're going to start to see a theme.
That was my pick
here. Yeah, that was mine too. Best light show went to Total Nuclear Annihilation.
I disagree with that one.
Yeah,
I think we talked about it.
Yeah,
I think here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me
right.
I had some thoughts on it.
Okay, lay it on.
I love TNA, and I'm glad to see that it got some awards and rightly deserved. But I think you can objectively prove that Dialed In has more going on in terms of lighting and the lighting effects. Like, it's just there's more lights and there's more of it and more opportunities in it. So I felt that was maybe not appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, it's subjective. It
is, but objectively, it has more going on in Dialed In than any game
I
that was released this year.
What it's got going for it as far as light show is how it integrates with the sound.
Okay, does it?
Yeah,
I know. I mean, I've played it, but maybe I didn't pick up on this, like the music.
Yeah,
and the sound.
it's especially when you drain and it kind of the choreography is right in sync with the lights. It's really good. I have no issue with either one. Both of them were real solid.
It's true. I mean, I love that game, and I do want a TNA in some capacity.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great game. Best theme went to Star Wars, which I would argue that's the only thing it's got going for it.
I guess that's no surprise, right? Like,
yeah, it's a great theme.
You know, it's gonna win hands down, right? Star Wars. People love Star Wars.
Best toys and gimmicks went to Dialed In.
I'm surprised. I mean, I think that was my pick too, but I can see. I don't know. Aerosmith might have been a other contender. I don't know.
I mean, toys and gimmicks. The theater is the thing that and just like the amount of stuff in there is nothing compares to it this year. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Best theme integration went to Dialed In.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that one thing. I think the voters did a good job.
Yeah. I think I had picked Alien for that, and I stand behind that pick. I think they did a great job.
I picked Dialed In, so I stand behind that one.
There you go. Best code and rules. Or wait,
best sound and
callouts. TNA. That was my pick for that.
Yeah, I see that. I mean,
you can't
the
argue
music's
with the music
awesome.
on that.
Yeah.
When you plunge and it does the kick into the full sound.
Yeah,
it's so good.
That's why I like it.
Right. Best code and rules. guess what? Went to dialed in.
Awesome. Good job.
Heartily agreed.
Rightfully, I liked so this was on, but we couldn't really watch it. Like we had it. We were running a tournament then, so we had the screen on and we didn't have audio, but we would just see like dialed in like coming up and flashing up. So I'm like, this is awesome.
And we saw Zach and Greg were in their tuxedos, which was really what you
yes.
wanted to
By the
see.
way, that was the best part. That's all I needed to see.
Yes.
Good. Well done, guys.
They were looking sharp. What did we do? Playfield, gameplay, and layout. Dialed in. Agreed, 100%. Best artwork. This was my pick, Aerosmith. I think
I
you
picked
it
Aerosmith too. Yeah. Good job, Dirty Donnie.
Game of the year. Dialed in.
Yeah. Rightfully so, man. There's justice there.
Yep. JGP crushed it with that game. So favorite mod, we mentioned this earlier, but that went to our friend Scott over at Penn Stadium. He earned the write-in vote for best mod of the year. Congratulations. And I think just overall in general, it was a great show. The response to it was really good. They had really good viewership. I think it was more produced than people were expecting. They did little intro videos for all the top three nominees, and they had a fancy border around them that made it look really good, and it added some legitimacy to the award. So
absolutely,
I think it's a good thing for pinball overall to have something like this. It generated some excitement and drew some more attention to the games and things that are out there. So kudos to Straight Down the Middle. Congratulations to them also for winning a YouTube channel, favorite YouTube channel, and thanks to everybody for voting for us. We made the top 3 in each one of the categories.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For Twitch stream, podcast, and YouTube channel.
Yeah,
So
I'm honored.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
So thank you to you guys for voting. Couldn't ask for more than that.
I'm glad to know that you guys think we're doing something right.
Right.
So we'll
helps.
continue to do that. I don't want to just spin my wheels here. Neither does
Exactly.
Kevin.
Awesome. So that's the This Week in Pinball Awards.
Wildcat said call-outs need to be a separate category. I'd agree.
Yeah.
You can almost say, I think you can break it out into music, best music, and then best sound effects, and maybe sound effects and call-outs, or maybe just 3 separate things. But you can break that out more.
Yeah, I think you'll see some tweaks in the year ahead, but they're definitely off to a good start.
Most developed code.
Well, it's a best code.
Yeah,
right? Best
that's
code
true.
and rules. I think that would fall under that. Anything but Bobbly Bobo. All right.
Oh, This Week in Pinball. That was responsive. He says on the docket.
There you go.
Separate sound and callouts. Awesome.
That's what you
Asking
get when you
shout.
watch live.
Wildcat, do you have any other requests?
Awesome. So we got a few pinball machines to talk about, believe it or not. So AC/DC Lucy is coming back. It's
I'm surprised.
premium version of AC/DC with the custom artwork. I think by Kevin O'Connor did that. But it's got rock and roll lady on it, and so it's kind of to address the feedback that they got with people didn't want AC/DC all over it, which is kind of crazy because it's an AC/DC machine. But it was like the Photoshop era of artwork, so it wasn't the best art.
It's an ugly. The artwork on the AC/DC game is
It's
pretty
real
ugly.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
the playfield is real bad. But the gameplay saves it.
When they came out with AC/DC Vault,
Uh-huh.
I remember they had the bell. It was like the Pro, and it put the bell in it. They didn't come out with a premium vault though. It was just the Pro vault.
Just the Pro. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the
premium vault.
I got you. Okay,
So it's the right art package for the
I'm
premium.
surprised they're still cranking that game out.
Man.
I would have expected anything like a Tron.
Yeah.
There seems to be more demand for that, if I'm not mistaken.
I think This Week in Pinball posted that there's a rumor of a Tron 82 Vault Edition.
Ugh, then you don't get the Daft Punk.
That's the thing. Like, people
Who
are
the hell
getting
wants
hyped about
82?
that. And I'm like, you know what? I love the original Tron. That's what got me, I watched that when I was a kid, and I was like, this is so awesome. He's going into a computer and all this stuff. But I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't, there's no way they would have the Daft Punk in there with the 82 version. And the soundtrack in the 82 movie was not that good.
Yeah, that would take me
There
out.
was a Journey song in there, though.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I can see like being tempted to get it,
Yeah.
possibly because I like that game. I owned it, but I like it. I do miss it in my collection, but not the 82 Tron.
I think it's a good pick to rerun because there's high demand for it. The
Oh,
prices are
no
going way
doubt.
up.
Oh yeah, that's a no-brainer.
And as a Tron fan, I would want to play it, and maybe it's better. I don't know. It's like Spider-Man. I like both the Spider-Mans. I actually kind of like the Vault a little better. The call-out's not quite as good, but I love the art on it. It's a beautiful game, so it's a toss-up. So hopefully that happens. And moving on to the next game, we also know that Alice Cooper is the next game up from Spooky Pinball, and today they launched another teaser trailer, and so we'll just play that here, and then we'll talk about it.
Yes, I know you're hungry. And here comes dinner.
So there you go. If you're listening in your car on the way to work or something, it says you can play Alice Cooper at Texas Pinball Festival. So it's kind of what we were expecting, but
Okay.
it's coming at you.
All right.
You can be able to play it there.
What's the run number of that?
They haven't announced that as far as I know.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they haven't taken pre-orders yet?
Nope.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think so. So what the video kind of showed that really jumped out at me was the full color LCD screen, which is a first for Spooky.
Oh, yeah. That looked nice.
Looks great.
I saw it for literally the clip is like half a second.
Yeah, you have to
but I'm
watch
like,
it.
That looks nice.
You have to watch it like 4 or 5 times. We'll throw the link to the YouTube video on in the description if you're watching later on, or if you're listening, we'll put it in the show notes in the podcast. But yeah, and there's also, if you go on Pinside in the thread about Alice Cooper Pinball, somebody pulled a bunch of screenshots of it, so you can kind of like stop and really enjoy what's there. But I like the sculpts they have in there. I think those are from Matt at Back Alley Creations. They look great. All the playfield elements, aside from a couple sculpts, are kind of out of focus. And
It's amazing you can even make anything. I didn't even try to lock in
Right.
anything, but you saw the still
I've watched
pictures.
it like 5 or 6 times
Okay.
already. Yeah, it looks pretty good. The side rails they've got like a textured finish to them. They look pretty good. Yeah, but other than that, I think it's interesting. I don't really have Alice Cooper is not a musician I listen to a lot, aside from, you hear like School's Out for Summer. And
When you buy a lot, you mean you never listen to Alice Cooper, right?
other than hearing him on the radio or whatever.
You left the radio on because, okay.
It happened to be on. Yeah.
Not any offense to Alice Cooper.
I don't
but
go
it's
out of
just
my way
not-
to listen to Alice Cooper.
Yeah, that's, yeah. I hear you.
But seeing that was a good teaser trailer. I'm kind of interested now.
Yeah,
so
they did a good job with it.
let's see what they come up with, and I'll be interested to see some gameplay and
It's
get
gonna
my hands on that.
So that's going to be that's the first game revealed in 2018. We can say potentially, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Unless Stern beats them to it.
Yeah.
Which are
They
we
might.
due?
I think last year they announced Aerosmith in January, didn't they? But I think that was at CES.
And so they had Guardians. That came out November,
Yeah, it's a little too soon, I think.
maybe February. We should see a release. February, March. I would think something by the Texas Pinball Festival from Stern.
Yeah,
All right.
I would guess there's probably going to be a new Stern there too. All right, so that is Alice Cooper. I'm excited for that. Oh well, here's the biggest news of the month. Jay Fairbrother of Buffalo Pinball, his old house was on HGTV.
Was that House Hunters or something?
House Hunters, and you can see his pinball machines in the basement, and they were covered up with tarps.
Yeah.
because they didn't want to get copyright or whatever.
Blackjack's going to sue them.
Yeah, GoldenEye maybe.
Yeah.
007. You don't want to mess with
Yeah.
007. And his purple toilet. It
Yeah.
wasn't a purple toilet though. It was a purple bathroom.
It's a purple bathroom.
And the carpet on the stairs. So if you wanna, you can look for an old episode of HGTV's House Hunters. You can see Jay's house out there.
There you go.
Spoiler alert: they didn't pick his house.
Yeah, and Jay's not in it, so what's the point?
I know.
Just his house.
Right. All right. One more bit of news from us coming up this weekend is the North American Battle. Why don't you tell the folks about that?
So we're really excited. That's coming up this Sunday. We're going to broadcast that live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball. Guess what? You guys are watching it right now, some of you. This is something that we started last year it's a battle against our friends in City Pinball. City Pinball is a Toronto pinball league led by Jack Tadman, which is unfortunate for us because he just crushed us this past week, and he's going to do it again probably.
Yeah.
And if that's not enough, he brought his buddy Adam Beckard, who joined City Pinball this year.
Yeah, as if they didn't beat us last year enough.
I know.
He's like, he brought his insurance policy along.
Yeah,
this year.
seriously. So that's going to start at noon on Sunday. You should be able to probably catch it, probably about 3-hour stream. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun. I think in 2017, maybe the most fun I had in pinball was that event because it's super casual. There's the one-on-one matches that we play. I'm trying to remember the format, but I think I got it down because I think we do this in Team League now.
Yeah, it's like Team League.
It's one-on-one matches, then doubles matches, then split flipper. You do that with partner, and then a relay race. So, I think it's a really entertaining thing to watch. They're a good group of folks. We're going to have a lot of fun. we're probably going to lose.
Probably
I'm
gonna
sorry.
get wrecked,
As
yeah.
the captain, I probably shouldn't, but I'm a realist. I mean, I look at the numbers on this.
Yeah, it's
You
not
know?
looking good for Buffalo, but
I think we can go toe to toe with
do our
everybody but Jack and Adam Becker, who are in the top 100.
Yeah.
None of us are in the top 100.
AKA they're cheaters.
We'll go toe to toe with them, but they're going to destroy us. So we'll see.
So tune in.
We've been practicing though. Our team league format was
Yeah, that's
changed pretty much to train for this.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Either way,
And
win or lose.
we've got Dr. Mark Nagy's though, so
Well, yeah,
secret
look out.
weapon.
You guys watch the stream. You know,
Yeah.
you know Mark.
That's for you, Adam Gasick.
All right, it's review time.
Let's do it.
I am okay. This life is a bore, the least I've gotten waiting for. Are you ready for your eye exam?
All right, today we're reviewing Congo. Congo is a Williams game from 1995. They produced 2,129 of these beauties.
God, that's not much.
No, and the current pinside price range is $3,400 and $20 to $3,980. So $3,420 to $3,980, which is over the past couple years, this game has really shot up in price.
When I got into pinball and started buying machines, this would be January 2011. I had my eye on a Congo, and around then it was $1,800 for a good Congo.
Yeah, I got mine I think in 2013, and it was about a $2,500 game at that point.
Just absolutely nuts.
yeah,
Just crazy.
yeah, it's really jumped up there. But all right, let's get into doing our breakdown of what we do, and we'll start off with the art. So let me pull up the pics so we can talk about the art.
A lot going on in that back glass.
There's a lot to take in. Hand-drawn art from the 90s of a movie property. So it's got actors on it. It's got a big gorilla. It's Amy, and the gray gorilla behind her looking all menacing. The cabinet.
There's lasers too in it.
Well, yeah, there's monkeys with lasers. If you've ever
Yeah.
seen the movie, you know there's an important laser monkey scene.
Yeah.
But the cabinet is, it's okay. It's got some jungle art on the side with a gorilla looking through. The front has a little more like tribal kind of art on it. It says, "We are watching you." It's got a black and white photo of Amy on the back, at the head, on the side. It's okay. The playfield. Oh, important to note, they made two versions of this. There's one version that was a conversion kit that has all black and white art. So any WPC 95 game you could swap this into. It was one of very few conversion kits I think that Williams made.
That's interesting. So
Yeah.
how do you know how that worked?
You pull the playfield out and pop the new playfield in and swap the artwork, and off you went. After changing the ROMs, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
I didn't know that history behind it. I mean, I knew that there were like black and white cabinet ones,
Yeah.
but I didn't know that was a conversion one.
Yeah. So the playfield, very colorful, lots of green, like you would expect from a movie about the Congo. Greens and oranges and yellows. Those are the primary colors.
Black's also heavily featured in the playfield,
Yeah,
which is
especially in the
not
back.
common for a lot of pinball machines. Now that I think about it,
If you look in the back, you can see some of the
it's
black
got
around
because
the
it's
back.
space. That's where the satellites are.
The satellite's in space, but the space is also with the monkey.
There's
monkey
so
ranch
much.
and the
It's
volcano.
so ridiculous,
Yeah.
dude. There's a monkey, plastic molded monkey in the back left corner. But there's like space satellites, and then in the back there's a volcano exploding.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going. That is a universal phrase for WTF.
Yeah. There's hippos on the pop bumpers. Mm-hmm. That's a good time. You shoot it in there and it goes hippos. So that's the art. It's average to above average, I would say.
I think it's decidedly average.
Average.
Yeah, not bad,
Yeah.
but like you don't put that in your house, and I think there's a reason that was $1,800 for a long time, or not terribly desirable, because it's not based on a great movie.
Yeah.
The movie was kind of a dud, and it's not a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
Andrew Bentley in the chat says this is what the Tron playfield is based off of, right? I mean, it's
Sort
similar.
of. I mean, I was going to bring that up at some point, that you do see a bunch of Tron shots in there.
Mm-hmm.
You can also say there's some Funhouse-esque layout, and then Tommy as well.
Yeah. is similar to a number of other games.
Tron shares a lot of those similarities.
All right, let's talk about the sound. The sound is it's got call outs from
Tim.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What's his name?
And Tim Curry
Tim Curry.
and the guy from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So
The guy from Ghostbusters. Come on.
hippos,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
They got two voice actors though. You know,
it's impressive. In the 90s, you
there's
could do
good
that.
call outs in that game.
Yeah, really good calls. You'll be repeating them.
I think the sound's great in the game. The music's great in the game. I think that's one of the best Williams in terms of sound.
Yeah.
Well, Williams crushed it kind of.
Yeah.
Anyways, of that era.
The sound fidelity is really good too. I just remember like being really impressed with the quality of the sound, especially if you hooked the subwoofer up to it. Had great like tribal drum kind of sound effects and stuff like that. It was a really good sound. I like the sound in this game. Toys, so we can jump back to some of the playfield picks here. The main toy I would say is the volcano in the back.
That's what you would say is the main toy.
Yeah.
I would say the gorilla
In the lower
the
playfield.
plastic. Yeah,
Okay,
because you can at least interact with that. The volcano, you don't.
volcano you shoot it into and it shoots balls out the top. That's amazing.
It comes out. I didn't even notice it that much until like I started really looking at it.
It's amazing. I love that toy. I guess the difference is the volcano you interact with the ball in the playfield. The lower playfield has a separate ball in it with a gray gorilla that you kind of bash around and spell Congo and get points.
There you go. Pinball Howard said Ernie Hudson. Sorry, Ernie.
Ernie.
I know,
We
long
love
time
you,
listener, Ernie.
I know.
We love what you do.
Yes. And then it's got the Amy ramp in the back, so the gorilla in the back left of the playfield. It took me a little while to figure this out too, that it's not just a decoration, it's actually a ramp. The ball will get diverted and roll around her arms, so it's kind of cool. Those are the main things. It's got a couple an up kicker that can go one of two ways. It's kind of neat in the back. There's a lot going on. The ramps, the crossover ramps, got a diverter on it too. This is more shots and layout kind of stuff, but lots of unique kind of features and really a lot into the build of this game.
I don't like the. So all right, I'm gonna say the main toy to me is the gorilla and the lower playfield that you control with the flippers, but that's such a lame like thing. When it goes down there, I don't even care. It's just trying to get you just kind of bash. Yeah, there's really no skill behind it. It's really just bashing the flipper buttons pretty much.
A little
and you
bit.
can almost always get it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to like wait for it to settle and then
Yeah.
shoot it on the outer part of the arm to hit some of the outer letters, but otherwise you can usually just bash away.
It's not the worst thing,
Yeah.
but it's sort of, not as cool as you might think it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it, you're like, oh, what happens down there? And then you do it and you're like, okay, I'm good.
It's kind of like we have all these leftover Creature from the Black Lagoon windows. Let's flip it around and throw something else down there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a monkey. And we're going to bash some targets and spell Congo.
It would have been better if you can shoot lasers at the monkey.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If we could go back in time. Who designed this? Is John Trudeau game, so you'll see a lot of
And then, hold on, I'm not
similarities.
done. And then you shoot the laser at the monkey and his hand blows off because I know monkey parts start flying in the movie.
That seems
It's called theme integration.
You'd be like, smack the
Yeah.
hand back, and
Yeah.
boom, done.
And he goes, da-da-da-da. And then multi-ball.
Multi-ball, broken hand multi-ball. All right, I like it.
Monkey,
All right.
monkey laser multi-ball.
DMD and lighting. Let's talk about that. So I'm trying to remember the DMD animations. They don't really stand out to me, which probably is a sign of just kind of average DMD work and dot work. I don't remember them being especially cool.
Yeah, it has a video mode.
Oh yeah, the caves.
Oh, it has, well, I guess two then, technically, because it has the caves where you select like what cave to go in.
Mm-hmm.
You just like pick like on one of 3 or 4 or whatever, hit both buttons and it enters. But also the rafting one,
Oh yeah,
where you control the
You
raft,
get to it later in the game,
which is
so
really
you don't see it
hard,
as
by the
much,
way.
yeah.
Did you ever get good at that when
Oh
you
yeah,
owned
I was
it?
good at it.
Okay.
I'm,
It seemed tough.
I'm good at video games.
Okay. All right. Humble
It is-
brag.
That's right.
That's not even humble. That's brag.
That was a total brag. Lighting, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, nothing. I can't I'm scrambling to remember, and there's nothing memorable.
Yeah,
the
there's-
multi-ball starts cool though. Well, like you mentioned with the volcano
Yeah.
and the light kind of flickers and builds
Yeah,
up.
that's true, yeah.
So that's a good multi-ball
Lights go
start.
out and then the volcano lights up.
That's really the moment in like the lighting when it has like its time and place.
The ball comes flying out and hits the glass, and you're like, "Oh my god, it's going to break my
Mm-hmm.
machine." That's a good moment. So yeah, it's about average, a little above average. Gameplay, I think is where this game really shines. The shots are smooth, super
Incredibly
fun to
smooth.
shoot. Yeah, that left ramp. It's kind of in the same position as Ghostbusters, but a lot smoother. And the shots on either side of it are a little wider. That makes it nicer to shoot the shot through the pops up to the volcano ramp. It's tricky, but when you do it, it feels really good.
This is one of the best shooting games in all of pinball. I would easily say. I mean, I'm just every time I play, I'm struck by how well it feels. The shots, it's got good speed to it. One shot goes smoothly into the other one. Very satisfying shots too.
Yeah, super satisfying. It'll use that diverter on the left ramp return to kind of set you up between one of the two shots from the in lanes. Trudeau is kind of known for that. If you look at something like Flintstones, does a similar thing. I don't know. This is when people ask me, and we've talked about it on the show, like what game do you regret selling? I think about this game because of how fun it is to shoot every time I play it.
I wish you still had it. It feels like it didn't have it that long. Actually, it was at my place for a long time. Yeah, I miss it, Kev.
I know. Good thing Mark Nagy's got one. So we can go over there and play his.
And I like your Johnny too.
Yeah,
like that was another one.
I kind of miss that game too.
And I miss your Shadow.
I know. If only I could have unlimited funds and space, I would have all these. I've been in kind of a 90s Williams mode lately. I kind of want to get a couple more, or at least one more. But yeah, gameplay, awesome. Love it on this game. You can't go wrong with it. Rules. It's good, but it tends to be a little too easy to get to the wizard mode, I think. Because the game shoots so well, and it can be kind of a safe game. Balls return to flippers. I mean, you can obviously set up your game to be harder, but it's not super deep. There's a lot of interesting things to do. Like it's got that skill fire multi-ball where you can plunge to the out lane to get crazy points. There's a super skill shot on the out lane too. The Diamond Hunt multi-ball.
It's got a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot to do.
There really is a lot going on. I think the rules are good, but as Kevin alluded to, it's a little too easy for an experienced player.
Right.
At this point in our pinball career, that's my knock against it and why I don't have a desire to own it.
Right. But other than that, it's
but they're good, especially for the time.
It's really good.
It's
for
really
a
good.
Williams game.
Yeah, there's
based
a
on
number of
movie
multi-balls in there.
That
Yeah,
nobody cared about.
I like the idea of like trying to collect the diamonds and like you're building towards something and you're always like looking on the playfield. Where's the other one? Where can I get more? How many in there? It's engaging that way.
Yeah,
I like that.
It does a better job of that than Ghostbusters. I don't find myself as engaged with collecting ghosts on Ghostbusters as I do going for the diamonds on.
Yeah, I mean, well, Congo's not a mode-based game.
Right.
So Ghostbusters is kind of like both of it. It's got modes and it's got like the ghost collecting.
Right.
Congo's pure just diamond collecting, which I don't know. I like that. I like that. I like modes and everything, but it doesn't feel like, you know, when a mode comes on and it says the same things and it gets annoying, or you're just playing the same mode over and over again. That can wear on you in a pinball machine. At least with this style of game where you're collecting diamonds, you can do it in different order, or different ways, or as long as you collect it and get to the end, that's what matters. But because you don't have like a who brought the dog every time you play the game kind of deal, it's not annoying, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
I wish it was a little harder. I don't know how I would personally tweak it. Maybe it's like you get 100 diamonds, and that's a wizard mode. But then there's like something that's like more elusive, right?
Yeah, something a little deeper.
Yeah. I think that's what really needs.
Yeah, it needs
those two layers.
One other ultimate wizard mode. But otherwise, rules are pretty good. All right, last ability. I think we've kind of alluded to this.
Yeah. You got rid of yours, so it didn't last
I kept it for
that
like
long.
a year or so.
It's just solid. And I had Kevin's at my place. I was babysitting it for a while, and I really liked it. And I have a lot of respect for Congo. But again, I was when you took it, I'm like, I'm done with it. Even though I like the game a lot, I like it a lot. It's a great game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't provide the challenge for a more experienced player. I think this is a great game if you're just getting into pinball or you've been playing for a few years. And it's still challenging for you. Great game, even at this price point. I would definitely recommend it.
Yep.
Great game. Now, if you're a more experienced player and you're playing for a long time, it's a good chance it's gonna wear on you pretty quickly.
Agreed. I think I can't sum it up better than that. It's a great playing game. Rules are fun. Questionable theme, but the lack of depth really is what holds it back from being a real long-term keeper for me. So let's go over our scale. So go to buffalopinball.com/Twitch. You can see all of our Buffalo Pinball.
Look at you. Look at you,
podcast.
trader. Look at
Yeah.
that on the screen. He's pointing to his City Pinball shirt, like revealing that he's a trader. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I forgot to tell you, I'm jumping ship to City Pinball next time. So yeah, you can see our scale here, buffalopinball.com/podcast. Our score key, if you're new, is from 0 to 2 is a burn it, 3 to 5 is an expensive nightlight, 6 to 8 is a solid game, and a 9 to 10 is a buy it. What say you, Nick Lane?
Straight up 8. I mean, it's really easy for me to put this game as an 8. It is high on that solid game scale. It is a solid game. It's a really good game. Unfortunately, like we were just talking about, it's a little too easy, and I think it gets old quickly because of that. And maybe if it was cheaper, if it was in the $2,500 range, I'd find room for it in a larger collection. But for me, I'd have to pass. That's what just keeps it from a buy it or an 8.5. But just a great game. I have a lot of respect for Congo.
I'm right there with you. It's an 8 all day. I love this game. I may own it again someday if I can get a decent deal on one. Like I said, I've been feeling the Williams vibe again, so that'd be one I'd like to have back. Shadow and Johnny are also really great games that maybe we'll review again in a little bit.
All right.
Awesome.
And quick shout out. That game was chosen by our Patreon supporters. So thank you guys for that. So folks who are supporting us on Patreon at the $5 level, they get the opportunity to vote on what game we review. Usually we'll put 2 or 3 games up there that Kevin and I are comfortable reviewing and are interested in reviewing, and that was the one that was chosen. So if you want to support us on Patreon, head over to patreon.com/Buffalo Pinball. Any level of support is greatly appreciated. Heck, a lot of people are supporting us at $1, and the fact that you took 5 minutes to give us $1 a month, that's meaningful, and we appreciate it.
That's awesome.
And we'll put that money to good use, like going to Arby's.
Meat mountains for days.
Yep.
Speaking of the Discord, there's been some chat about getting together at Pinburg, and I recommended we get together for some Arby's, so that might be happening when we go down to Pinburg.
Attack said I rated us Star Wars and BBH the same. Oops. He's right. I wanna. Can you update this? Can you want to know?
No.
I wanna.
It's officially part of the podcast.
Well, one day we're gonna update things. Like we'll go through after like a year.
Okay.
I think that's a show idea I've wanted to do for a while. Like last year at this time we reviewed such and such. I would definitely take Star Wars down to 6.5.
I would keep the original there, but
Actually,
then also
maybe
keep
updated. I think I would put BBH. I mean, I got to put it to buy it, right? I own it, but like I'm trying to advise people, and I realize that not everybody looks at a pinball machine the same way I do, so
Right.
it's tough.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how when you rate something, you rate it how you like. What's a game that you really like that you don't rate any higher because you know other people don't like, or if you rated it high, you might mislead people who you know they'll get it and they'll be like, "What has Kevin seen this game? It sucks."
I probably rated Ghostbusters higher than most would.
What did you give it?
We can jump back here. I think
That's tough because I love BBH.
Yeah.
And I was harsh on it on this because of the hate that it
I
gets.
rated it 8.5.
That's
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair. I mean, you really like the game, so
Yeah.
that's kind of like you put like your own tilt on it.
Right.
I think so. Maybe like BBH to me is a 7.5 game, but my tilt on it might be an 8.5.
Right.
Like the way I really feel about it. Even you can even say a 9, the Nick tilt, like because
Yeah.
it's a buy it. I love the game a lot.
Yeah. So
Thanks for allowing me to talk about BBH for yet another podcast attack. I appreciate that.
Anytime we can bring up some Big Buck. There was a rethemed Big Buck Hunter I found on Instagram the one day. It was from some hunting company. Just popped up in the pinball hashtag. It showed up. It was kind of interesting.
What was I going nuts about? Was it in our like our private chat or whatever where we were looking at games and how they were ranked, and like BBH was like 200 some and Bad Girls were like 200 some.
It was the Pinside ranking,
and I
wasn't
like
it?
lost.
yeah.
Was this like during a live stream or something?
I think we were just talking. Yeah.
I like lost my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, and like we were talking about games that are ranked like way higher than that. I'm like, this is a joke. Like
Yeah.
Bad Girls, and we should review that soon.
Yeah, we should.
But spoiler alert, it's a really good game.
Yeah.
And when I had a collector night, like some of the folks played it for the first time, and like Neil, we went over to his house to play Flintstones most recently for the stream. He was just like, "Wow, this is a really good game."
Now he wants to buy one.
Yeah, and it's that kind of thing. And like, there's no way that game should be ranked 200 some on Pinside. That is by people who have not put any time on it or can't get past the back glass or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they're not real pinball people. They're the collector who doesn't want to see bad girls in their house,
which is mind-boggling to me.
Which, like, great, you collect pinball machines, that's fine, but you probably don't have a business rating a game when it comes to gameplay and sound and lighting and all that, because that game is really good.
Path of Play in chat wants to know, what's up, Mike? Do you see yourself re-reviewing Batman 66 as Code of Balls?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, happy to review that. You know what? I'm glad that came up because we played Alien.
We did.
We played in December on the Bro Show, and I only played one game on it. You played a few more, but we got to see it. So we've always said after we play a game that, especially if we don't give a good review or the game's underdeveloped, that we would come back. So this is not a re-review, but people have asked, what are our impressions after we played Alien again. So here's mine. Mm-hmm. I only played one game on it, but I saw probably an hour and a half worth of gameplay on it. James's Alien played better than the one on location. It still had some symptomatic problems, like falling off the return ramp, which you need to qualify a mode, so that's annoying. I like the left one.
Left one, yeah.
The Xenomorph was working, but it was still missing, I would say, at least 40% of the time.
Yeah, so the magnet wouldn't catch it, and
magnet
then the tongue
wouldn't
would
catch
miss, and creating a potential issue, because if you bash that thing with the ball, it could break.
Yeah, and there was some other issue that he pointed out that I don't recall at the time.
It's the lighting issue.
There's another one.
The lighting issue, and there was also the drain during ball save issue.
Yeah, I'll get so those are like the how do I want to say, like the
code problems.
Yeah, well, that's a code problem. I'm talking about like the mechanical problems and like the layout problems. Yeah. And this is James like working on it for some time. I think he like downplayed how much he worked on it, but yeah. I think I heard differently. So there were still issues after working on it. With that said, I had a much better time playing it now that it was working for the most part. Mm-hmm. His felt like it shot better. Maybe it was just set up better.
Yeah,
it felt less like a clunk fest than it did with the one I played on location. I can see the promise in that game. Mm-hmm. I can see it being a much better game than we reviewed it at, but it still has problems, and I couldn't recommend anybody getting it until everything's ironed out. Like, for example, there was the issue with the code. So this was in December. We played the game back in July. All right, so it's been out for a considerable amount of time. What happens with the multi-ball? It does like an infinite loop or something, Kevin, or the ball save doesn't work?
We had to turn the ball save. This has been since fixed in the code update. A new code update came out like 2 weeks, 2 weeks after we played or something. So that's been fixed. The lighting issue also. So if you watch the stream, anytime somebody's got a ball cradled, the lights go into kind of disco party mode. I guess it's actually a hardware problem, but they've remedied it mostly in code. So that's better.
What was the last thing you said?
The lighting issue.
I was going to drink. Thank you.
Yeah.
Lighting issue. Okay.
It's important. So that's getting better. I echo everything Nick had to say. I still love the game. I have a great time playing it. I have two issues with it. The build quality, that concerns me, and the company behind it. It's like, if you have a problem, is this company going to be there in 6 months,
I hate to say it, but it's true.
Yeah.
And it's an $8,000 game now. It used to be cheaper when you first order it.
It's an $8,000 game now.
So think about what else you can get for $8,000. Yeah, you can get it dialed in standard, and I cannot recommend Alien over that. So
Jersey Jack definitely stands behind their games,
but it's better. I mean, it's definitely like I want to like that game too. I mean, the presentation of that game is really good.
Yeah,
with the audio, video in it, super good.
Mm-hmm.
And I had fun, and I want to play it more. So that's a good sign of the game. So hopefully we see more of these out there. Hopefully they resolve that. Hopefully Alien can Highway can kind of keep it together and. I don't know.
Yeah, you see it on a lot of pinball machines when they first come out that there's little problems that they tweak and fix during production runs. So hopefully this is one of those situations where they see what's happening, what the little issues are. I know they watch our streams, they watch any video that goes up online to get feedback, and they take that into consideration when they're doing code updates and remanufacturing things. So hopefully they keep doing that, and it's going to be a great game for everybody.
I think when they're done and we have access to it and we can really spend some meaningful time with it, we can do a re-review of it, which honestly is probably a year or two from now.
Give it a year.
But I'd like to do that. So I want to do every game justice.
Yeah, I think in the case of Batman 66, it's definitely getting to the point code-wise, from what I hear, that it's Lyman's starting to work his magic on it.
We'll wait till, and again with that, we'll wait till we
want
might give
1.0
updates along the
code.
way. Like if
Yeah.
we play it and we're like, oh yeah, seriously, I noticed. But we'll play it when it's done,
Yeah.
right? And then we'll re-review it in its final state.
Yeah, when it hits 1.0, then we'll consider doing.
Which
a
is
re-review.
crazy to say when it hits 1.0 because it's been out for a year and a half now, pretty
and
much.
it's still at 8.8
yeah,
something.
which is frustrating.
Yeah.
So
So there you go.
that is what it is.
That was cool. Thank you, chat room, for the feedback and the questions. Let's get into some more viewer listener Q&A. We got a couple questions from Twitter. The first one comes to us from TurboGrafx7. He says, with the TWIPY Award results, do you think manufacturers will start to entertain the idea of using original themes more now?
I don't see Stern doing it because it's been kind of the drum that they beat, and Stern really goes for the sure thing. Stern is not taking risks. Stern is recycling playfields. It's using the same rules that quote unquote work, and it's using the best themes possible, which is fine. I get it. Like that's their model, and it works for them. Now, Jersey Jack took a hell of a risk with Dialed In. It helped that he had one of the greatest designers in pinball work on it. But, I mean, I've got to imagine Dialed In is selling well. It's winning a lot of awards. Kevin said there's over 1,000 people that voted. It crushed it in the categories. People are starting to play and come around. So it just goes to show you can design an original theme still, and it can do well. We don't know the numbers, but it's a hit. It's a success. So I imagine Jersey Jack would probably entertain the idea of doing another original theme at some point. And you can see smaller boutique places. I can see Spooky Pinball doing that, and they have in the past. So I think they can take that calculated risk, especially if they do a limited run where they know they're going to get 300, 400 people to buy a machine no matter what, and they can still profit off that.
Yeah, you're going to see, for the collector market, you will see original themes. For the route operators, they want the themes because the themes are what pull in the dollars when you're on route. Somebody walks by a Dialed In, they're like, what is that? Somebody walks over to Star Wars, and they're like, oh, Star Wars. Boop. There's an instant connection. They want to see what's going to happen when they put their money in it. Dialed In or any other original theme game is going to take a little more convincing for players to understand. You look at a game like Medieval Madness, and you're thinking about, oh, maybe I played that in the 90s. I remember that. Or, we're just in a different era now where you walk through an arcade. I think it was the Pinball Players podcast. Jeff Parsons was talking about this. He went to Vegas, and the games he played in the casino, he's not a big gambler, so the games he played in the casino were the themed ones. So you play The Price is Right, you play the Wheel of Fortune, you play the Star Wars, you play the Ghostbusters, because there's something you understand there that you have some connection to. So I think for casual pinball players, there's very much the same kind of dynamic going on in the arcade. You walk past a row of pinball machines, you're going to pick one that you're familiar with already, and it's to be expected. So I think there's more opportunity for an original theme now than there was before TNA, before there was America's Most Wanted, before there was Dialed In. But I don't think it's going to be a huge market.
Yeah, you look at the list, what won? Dialed In and TNA.
Yeah.
I mean, people voted.
Yeah.
And I imagine they're voting with their wallets as well. So that's cool.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good that they've shown that it can be done and it can be successful.
Yeah, the collector market wants it, and they want good original themes. They also want themed games because when Ghostbusters comes out and everybody's like, I remember that from my childhood, take my money. They're gonna keep doing that too.
You'd almost think with Stern making, do they even make 3 games a year anymore? Like 3 different themes a year?
I think they do.
You almost think that one of those could be dedicated to an original theme. And the nice thing about that is that it gives their designers some creative freedom, which I'm sure, as a designer, as an artist, you really look forward to.
Yeah.
And they also don't have to pay the theming license, so they can save some money there. And I don't know, they don't have to deal with the licensing issues and the setbacks and like, oh, we got to get this approved, we got to get that approved. They can just get a game probably out on time like they would want to.
The other side of that is you have to create absolutely everything. So you can't say...
You can't take other
It's
assets.
not The Hobbit where
that's a
I
good
can pull
point,
video
Kev.
clips. I have a soundtrack to work with. I have call-outs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a balance either way.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't consider that.
So there you go. Point, counterpoint. Path of Places asks if you want to buy a slap chop because you have the the headset on and the picture on the back glass of his dialed in.
Oh, you like that? That's who asked that? Pat the Play?
Yeah,
Mike?
Mike.
That was my Halloween costume in 2009.
Yeah.
It's Vince. It sells itself.
That's right. He does a really good slap chop. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, TurboGrafx. Another one from Twitter. He says it's from HSJ3. He says, do you guys have any tips for making the most out of multi-ball? I know the basics of cradle separation, but have a hard time maximizing multi-ball scoring opportunities, and it just turns into flailing.
That's a really good question. I know Martha has a hard time, and she asks me that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
she sort of panics and falls apart. Let's try to go through some things that I can think of, and hopefully something sticks. One, sometimes I think people just try to get some multi-ball, and then like that was the goal, and they set, and then they like relax, or they let off the gas because I got some multi-ball. That was my goal. I think you need to up the goal. You get some multi-ball, but then have a goal in mind when you get some multi-ball that you're really gonna focus at that point, and you're gonna understand what shots you need to hit. And even though it's chaotic, you're gonna really focus on those shots. I know that seems simplistic, but I know for myself personally, if I'm just in competition or something, I might have this bad self-talk that says all I need to do is start multi-ball and all my problems will go away, right? And then what happens is I've achieved my goal, so I almost slack off a bit, unintentionally so, and I'm just flailing and hoping good things will happen. And it doesn't work that way. I have to up my ante. I gotta say, I'm gonna get multi-ball is a means to the end, but the end is really getting the jackpots in multi-ball. When you have your ball save on during multi-ball, you can certainly, that's the time that you can flail. All right, you can, but I would still say have an idea in your mind of the jackpots you want to hit. Look up once in a while and see what's lit and what's not. Okay, especially because you have the ball save on, you have a grace period. But that again doesn't mean that you can slack off. You want to maximize. That's what you've been doing all that hard work to get to. Think about it. You were trying to get to multi-ball. You're hitting all these shots. You set it up. That's not the time to lay off the gas because now you got 3 balls and all the good things are going to happen. No, that's the time that's when the payoff is, but you have to make it happen. So there's that psychological aspect to it. When the ball save is off, some players like to trap up, and I think that's fine. You got to do what works for you. If you're comfortable trapping up, fine. I trap up a little bit, but I'm more comfortable maybe just stopping the ball, but then hitting it. I'm more of like getting into the rhythm of everything and like that. So play to your style, but just keep those things in mind. Think about what you're thinking of psychologically during multi-ball, and I think maybe some tweaks will help you.
Great advice. I'll just kind of share my experience. I've found the same thing, especially when playing competitively. Once multi-ball starts, I have to like mentally tell myself, okay, you really need to kind of step it up here, and then just like kind of lean into the machine a little bit more. One thing I like to do is focus on the lower part of the play field and pay it, because chances are by that point you kind of have a feel for where the shots are. So focus on the flippers, and in your mind, think about where those shots are and send the ball there. If you're on target, you'll start hearing the call outs for jackpots. If not, maybe look up and see where they're going, and then adjust your shot accordingly to that. On certain games, it requires a little more control. So if you think of a classic Pat Lawler kind of game where you have to hit the side ramp, you're going to want to trap up with one ball on the left, kind of use that right flipper to set up your shot through the...
Some games you definitely have to trap up. You
Yeah.
cannot just spray and pray.
So think about Monopoly or Adam's Family.
A lot of any Pat Lawler game, pretty much, right? Except for dialed in,
yeah.
you can kind of go at it.
The double jackpots on the left ramp. So with dialed in actually fights against you, so you can't trap up.
That's true. So smart.
Yeah.
Such a good game. Did we say it's a good game?
We like dialed in.
Yeah.
So shoot through the pops. And then what I end up doing is, all right, I'll do my cradle separation. I'll get everything all set up. I'll get it up to the upper left flipper, and then I'll miss. And then I'll do it again, and then I'll miss. But eventually you're going to get it. So just stick with it. Have persistence and remain patient. Do the cradle separations. Don't rush. Post pass if you need to post pass and get a ball over where you need to do it. So it's one of those things that comes out of practice. So the more you do it, the less excited you'll be. Every time you do it, you'll be like, okay, this is what I need to do. You'll be a little more focused on what you need to do. All right. A couple questions from Discord. We got a twofer from Mix Fortuna. He says, question 1, what game do you feel has the largest transformation from a code update? Rule, it has to be a machine you played enough of before and after, and not just based off of things you've heard and not played.
Oh, Mix Fortuna laying down the law.
Yeah.
For me, the first thing that came to mind was Walking Dead.
Ditto.
Okay, so like when Walking Dead came out, it's not. I have not seen the show, so it wasn't a game I wanted because of the theme. That did nothing. It was not good or bad, right? Just it didn't move me. And I played it, and I'm like, okay, I like how it shoots. That's fine and well. But the rules were nothing special. I never once thought that I'm going to own a Walking Dead at all times. So that came out in, I think, like September, October. I think it was like 2014.
Yeah.
That timeline sound right? And then it wasn't until this summer. I remember like in August, I was listening to, I think it was August, like Josh Sharp was on Coast to Coast, and he was just talking about his premium Walking Dead and how he loves the code update and like the walker bombs. And that's when I was like, okay, this is something special now. I liked how it shot, but when he was just describing the strategy behind it and getting really passionate about it, and what Lyman did to that game, that's when I knew I wanted it, and I played it, and it's my favorite game now. Made a total transformation. It's really something special, and it's to this day, it's my favorite game.
Yeah. I was going to say Walking Dead too, but since you already said it, I will pick Metallica. Because Metallica, before the code update, was just a couple multi-balls and not much else. Again, it's a Lyman game, and you can see the care and thought he puts into his rule sets. The whole crank it up modes and everything, and really transformed that game into another all-time classic from Stern. So,
and we had played it a lot too.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely played it a lot. It was we had a launch party for it. It had been out on location for like 10 months, almost a year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Metallica, Walking Dead. All right. Question from the chat. What do you consider a fair price for my game of pinball? 25, 50 cents, or a buck?
Wait, where's this?
In the chat.
What do you consider a fair price? That's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. I was thinking about that today because there was a price discussion, right? You saw on our Facebook. Not a debate or anything. Somebody was asking about price of games.
Sure.
Listen, I think that I shouldn't say I think. So pinball went to 50 cents.
In the 90s.
Correct me if I'm wrong. No, I think it was with Black Knight.
Oh, yeah. That was the first.
That was
Black Hole, I think, actually was the first
Black Hole. So like early 80s, it went to
yeah.
50 cents.
Yeah.
If you were going to talk inflation and price adjusted today, pinball should be more than $1. So adjusted for inflation, pinball is cheaper than it's ever been, and yet the games are way more sophisticated. Mm-hmm. So pinball is super cheap right now at $1. I think pinball machines should be $1, no doubt. People who complain about prices, it's very frustrating, especially to me as an operator. Thankfully, I don't get a lot of that, or I don't see that, but I know other arcade owners or operators, they get that and they're frustrated by it. We have our games set to $1 or 3 games for $2, which I think is great.
That's what it should be.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Like it offering a deal to the player keeps them playing longer. That's good. But let's face it, pinball machine prices are going up. And they're labor-intensive machines. Even when things are going well in a pinball machine, you need to clean it. You need to change rubbers. Things break. We're doing service calls all the time. And if we're not making $1 in a pinball machine, then we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
Because the other option is to put a game out there for 50 cents, but we would lose money. We would drive ourselves crazy because we wouldn't make any money. And you still have
to split that money with the location,
yeah,
too.
Split with the location.
You're not taking the full $1.
Yeah, you would never. You would be crazy. Whenever you see a pinball machine that somebody's running for 50 cents or 75 cents, I want to. 9 times out of 10, that machine is probably in disrepair and neglected because the operator doesn't care about it, and I can sympathize a little bit with the operator because they're not making any money.
Right.
So it really needs to be $1. 2 for 3 is, I think, a great concept, great deal.
Yeah, it's just a mindset shift. I think it's like the mentality of, I have to put a whole $1 into this. I go to the vending machine at work and to get a Snickers bar, it's $1.25. It's crazy.
Yeah, here's the really cool thing about pinball. A lot of pinball machines, and this is a whole other debate, like match and replays, which we actually turn down our match and replays because again, financially,
giving away pinball doesn't make sense.
We have giving away a free pinball doesn't make sense. But as you get better at pinball, you can maximize that $1 by playing longer and get deeper in the game. So it rewards you. Yes, there's more of an expense up front when you're just beginning, but you're rewarded because you'll stretch that $1 a little further. And then a lot of times games have replays. So if you get a large score, you get another game. So that's really cool about pinball. It becomes more affordable to you as time goes on and you invest more and get better.
I should qualify what you've been saying is like you're talking about modern games, like new games, like 90s
Yeah.
and newer.
Yeah.
Older games you have set to 50 cents, like the alphanumeric games or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, like we got older games on location, like a Fathom, which I mean that game is like $4,000-$5,000 game, and we're charging 50 cents for it. But like a Countdown is an $800 game, and we charge 50 cents. So older games, we'll do 50 cents.
Your gameplay times are usually significantly shorter on
games
there,
from
so
the
it makes
80s,
sense.
75 cents, something like that. But when you get to DMDs, I think $1 is fine. And you know, if the game is well maintained and it's working, then it's worth $1. You want to put the $1 in there because that tells the operator that your efforts are rewarded for cleaning and maintaining the game. And when we make money in the business as an operator, we're investing in more pinball machines. You know, we have that money now that we're making so we can afford to buy the newest Stern or to add more games out on location. So it's you're investing in pinball, man.
Yeah, and putting $1 in a pinball machine is a heck of a lot cheaper than going out and buying one for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, the alternative is you can pay $5,400 for a new in-box Stern, and you have to play it 5,400 times to break even, and that's not easy to do.
Or if you're paying 50 cents a game,
Maybe I've played. Have I played Iron Man 5,400 times personally? Probably
doubt it.
no. Like so, I haven't. So I'm in the hole there, right? Like it
Yeah.
would have been cheaper to go on location.
Yep. So there you go. There's some pricing talk, which
Yeah. It's a good question.
It's a
never,
topic that comes up.
No
a
one's
lot.
no one's asked that though.
Yeah,
You never had a pricing discussion on the podcast, so there
Good
you
one.
go.
All right. Second question from Mixer Tuna in our Discord channel. He says, if you could pick one game that you could pick to get a code update, what would it be? This can be any pin, any era. Always wanted a little more depth in a classic or more rules in a game you think didn't get enough attention.
What do you think I'm going to say?
I don't know. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, all right, let's put a caveat there. I think there's games that I don't know if I want to say it's an obvious answer, but they're begging to be updated. For me personally, for what Nick Lane wants,
I know it. I don't know what it's going to be now.
I want Big Buck Hunter because it's one of my favorite games, but it has some unfortunate things in the rules, like the wizard mode being pretty much impossible to get to with the ways the rules are written. I think it can use like a mini wizard mode kind of deal to negate that. So I'd like to see that game get the polish it deserves because I think it would be it's one of my favorite games, but it would be a really great game if it had a rule update.
Yeah. For me, the one that came to mind was Johnny Mnemonic because great game, love the gameplay, rules are good, except for Spinner Millions. Spinner Millions just makes that game ridiculously unbalanced.
Which is how I won the game up in Canada at the Bluffs. Year-end thing.
Yeah.
I got the spinner lit and it let me go to the playoffs.
Right. So
Thank you. Thank you. Unbalanced rules.
Yes, I think with that simple change, that could be a great tournament-friendly game. There's some other obvious choices like games like Wheel of Fortune that I've never really played much. It's a pretty fun game, but there's some woefully missing rules on that. Another one is WWE WrestleMania could use a code update.
It can use it's almost there,
Yeah.
right? It's almost going to cross the finish line, but it's not there. So I want to just address one question. So Blake G says, "Well, no, because you can sell it." So he's talking about how it's more expensive to
Having
own a
to
pinball
recoup your
machine.
investment.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, a pinball machine's not an investment. It's an asset certainly, and it's not necessarily depreciating the asset. But yeah, there's something to be said. There's something to be said there about like you own it, I can turn around, sell it, and then how much did I really put into?
Yeah,
like
you don't
Iron
really
Man?
have to play it $5,400 times, but
Yeah. So it wasn't. I didn't explain it the best, but you get the point. I mean, it's expensive to go out and buy. It's cheaper to play in many ways.
yeah. Another question from the chat. The good ones today. At tourneys, do you consider flashy plays or just focus on the score grind? Tournaments, it's all about the score. You don't want to play for wizard mode. You don't want to play for fun. You want to find what's the safest way to maximize the number of points.
Yeah, agreed.
So just it's not always making it do the cool stuff or get into the wizard mode. Just focus on the safest route to the most number of points.
Agreed. There you go.
All right. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Brody
No,
Even Talk
wait,
Pinball.
did we have Attack had a question?
Oh, he did. He said not to read this one, but we'll read it.
Oh, all right.
He says,
Don't.
No, it's a joke question. He says, I have a question, says Martha. How does it feel to be print media famous? And I did want to mention this. We got a lot of media coverage
Because it's magic. They just magically showed up, right, Kevin?
Yeah. They magically showed up.
Yeah.
But we had
Some
all
jokes.
3 local TV stations at the at the summer, or not the Summer Open, the IFPA state finals. We also had the Buffalo News come out, and we've seen some great results from that. So anybody who's running pinball events, and it's something cool like the state finals, or you're hosting a circuit event or something like that, just tell your local TV stations.
They look for news, right? I mean,
Right.
they want news stories. They need content.
They got to fill the pages. They got to fill their time slots. Pinball is a fun thing. And you don't have to want to be a superstar or whatever. It's a great way to find new people that don't know pinball's going on.
Exactly. You want to promote pinball, right? You want to tell people about pinball. Then take advantage of that tournament you're hosting and let the media know.
Right. And, we had Game On, the host of the event, had great feedback from us. He was really thankful for. So it's a benefit for the pinball scene. It's a benefit for the locations where you have pinball machines. Anything you can do to reach out and expand that player base is definitely get out there and do it. All right. Let's do some call to actions and plugs. So go on out there and follow us on social media. So go to buffalopinball.com. You can find all of our social, or if you're on Twitter, go to Buffalo Pinball or Buffalo Pinball on Instagram, YouTube. We've got a Buffalo Pinball group on Facebook. Discord, just go to discord.gg/Buffalo Pinball, and you can join up and chat with us in there. You can talk about Meat Mountains and Rudy Soup and whatever else you might want to talk about when we're not streaming. Be sure to email us with any feedback or questions you might have, talkpinball@gmail.com, and follow and subscribe to us on Twitch if you want to show us a little bit of support. Another way you can support us is through Patreon, patreon.com/Buffalo Pinball. We talked about that earlier. If you want to vote on the things we review every month, then you can do that there.
Or we had a viewer just say, how can we support you? And he sent us money via PayPal at buffalopinball@gmail.com.
Boom.
So thank you, man. That was nice.
That was awesome, yeah.
It's sometimes, when we've been really busy with pinball, all right? And there's a lot going on. And when we get an email like that, I'm like, well, we must have done something good. So
somebody went out of their way to to stop and go, I want to send you guys some money. I was like, okay.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So that's going to do it for this episode of Birdie Even Talk Pinball. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And thanks for voting for us in the Twippies.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you next time.